So if you work in L&D or you're a learning designer, then chances are you've worked on compliance content at some point in your career. This is kind of like almost like the bedrock that the e-learning industry in particular is built on. Um, and I think you always have to ask yourself at the start of these projects, is there actually a problem that we're trying to solve here? And by a problem, I mean a behavior change issue. So, for example, if it's a data protection course, um, does your organization actually have a serious risk of data breaches? Is this something that happens frequently? If it's like a modern slavery course, this is maybe a more problematic one because oftentimes you have these 30-minute courses that are created for organizations where most people in the organization can't do anything about modern slavery. The only purpose of the course is to be able to say that you provided training to your people. And if there's not a behaviour change issue to solve, then it's difficult to work out what that course or intervention should look like. So then it's tempting to say, well, what should it cover? And then we take a kind of like content-based, topic-based approach to creating training content. The difficulty with this is you end up with these massive bloated monstrosities. So I think a better place to start is to say, what's the absolute minimum that we can do to meet our compliance requirements in those cases where there's really not a massive risk, and there's nothing that most people in the organization can do to reduce that risk anyway. Because by starting with what's the minimum that we can do, we can always add stuff in as required based on the organization's risk appetite, whatever it might be. But you're going to end up with something that's far shorter and respects the time of your people far more than if you take this kind of content-based approach, which is what's all the stuff that we should say about modern slavery or data protection, which tends to lead to your sort of 45-minute to an hour-long courses that everyone thinks, there's nothing in this for me. There's nothing actually I can do about it. I hope that was useful, and we'll see you again soon.